This feeding is quite a few different things. We're going to do a few target feedings. We're going to do a very large broadcast feeding as well. So there's lots of people upstairs getting ready for this feeding. What's going to happen first, our Todd and Bar are going to put targets into the water for our two large green sea turtles. A lot of the animals in this particular exhibit associate food with a target. So once the target hits the water, the turtles should head over to the far right of the exhibit. It's going to be incredibly hard to see them feed, so don't try and look for them. Once the turtles are their target, another target will be lowered into the middle of the exhibit. And it'll look like kind of a very large yellow X or a cross or a T or however you want to think about it. And that target is for my favorite animal in this exhibit, which would be the ocean sunfish, also known as a mola. If any of you all have seen the large swimming fish head, it goes like this. That's the ocean sunfish. Now I know what it is. And now once the mola goes to its target, what then is going to happen is something called a broadcast feeding, where Christina is going to throw out a little over 80 pounds of fish and squid for the fast swimmers in this exhibit, like the tuna and the dolphin fish that are in here. So the turtles look like they're starting to head to their target, and then they flip around and come back. Now the turtles are vegetarians, so we feed them a variety of different items like romaine lettuce, bell peppers, even zucchini and cucumbers every once in a while. But they are big and they're a little slow, so we want to get them out of the way during the main feeding. But they also like to chomp down on the squid here or there. The squid's a little too high in protein for them, so we want to make sure that they're at their station before we start that big broadcast feed. I don't see the mola target in there either. Renee is actually going to be in charge of the mola. So once that target goes in the water, you'll see that big swimming fish head right down to it. Now in the broadcast feeding, that's going to be pretty interesting, and you're going to want to keep your eye on a lot of the fish in here. The tuna will gain speeds, the dolphin fish will actually change colors, and the sardines are going to kind of dart and scatter throughout the exhibit space. So if you look in the back, you're going to see that the mola target is just now being placed in the water. So as soon as that mola comes up, which there it goes, people think the sunfish is an incredibly slow animal until the target goes in the water and then it zooms around quite a bit. Now there it is heading towards the target, and like clockwork, here comes the food. So as I mentioned, Christina's going to throw out a little over 80 pounds, close to 85 pounds of fish and squid. She's starting with the squid first because it's not what the fish really want. The fish want the fish. So they really want to eat the sardines or anchovies that are going to get tossed in. So as you can see, the tuna really started to gain speed. Some scientists believe tuna can swim almost 50 miles an hour in short spurts, but they're very often seen going up to 25 miles an hour. And these animals are pretty popular, and they can also be incredibly large fish. How many of you thought all tuna was small, round, came in a can about this size? It's okay, a lot of us. The largest bluefin tuna in this exhibit right now weighs in at around 110, maybe even close up to 120 pounds. But that is incredibly small to what they can be. Pacific bluefin tuna have been seen reaching weights of over 1,000 pounds. And they are big and they are popular. And the more popular the fish become, the rarer they become as well. The rarer the fish is, the more expensive it is. Just at the beginning of this year alone, a single bluefin tuna weighing in at 580 pounds was sold at a fish market in Tokyo for over $700,000. If you want to know what that is per pound, it's around $1,200 per pound. Anyone else think that's a little crazy and a little too much? I think so. Now some of the other fast swimmers you're going to see in this exhibit are the kind of longer skinny fish that hang up towards the top of the exhibit. Those are known as dolphin fish. If you're off the coast of Mexico, you'll hear them referred to as venado. But here, on your dinner plate at least, you'll often hear them referred to by their Hawaiian name, which is mahi-mahi. So if you ever eat mahi-mahi, that's what you're eating right up there. They're pretty short-lived fish, only around 3 or 4 years. They grow fast and reproduce quickly. But they do have the amazing ability to change their colors very, very rapidly. So you'll see them, they turn on golds and even blues, and sometimes we'll even have some that have a pink color to them. They're absolutely incredible fish. Now I told you the mahi grow fast and don't live very long. The bluefin tuna, some scientists again believe they can live to be into their 30s. They grow very slowly and they don't start reproducing until late in life. And I've also told you that these fish are very popular. Does anyone think it's kind of weird that we talk about eating seafood in an aquarium? It's okay to admit it, but how many of you all love seafood? You may notice that my hand is up. I love seafood. But the question then becomes, as consumers, how do we make the right choice to make sure that we have a nice, healthy ocean? There goes the turtle eating some of the fish that it shouldn't be eating. And they just chow down too. So if you all want to make healthy ocean decisions as well, or choices, I recommend you pick up one of these Seafood Watch pocket guides. Basically, the aquarium has done the homework for us. If you open it up, you'll see 3 lists: a red list, a yellow list, and a green list. Now, what do you all think of when you see red? Stop, right? Exactly. And that's what should be happening with those animals on the red list. They need a break from fishing, either because they're being overfished or the way they're being fished is harmful to the environment or other animals. But what do you think of when you see green? Go. And those animals on the green list are caught in a sustainable manner. So they're good for the environment. There's even a super green list, which means the way the animal's caught is good for the environment and the fish is good for you. So lots of other fish are kind of in the mix of this feeding. There's some pilot fish, which are kind of a small fish with black bands that run down the side. They'll kind of get in and out of here. You may have noticed that the fish's speed has picked up again. That's because Christina started throwing in what looked like to be anchovies, and that's what they really want. The anchovies are a little higher in fat, so we'll feed those towards the end, and the fish get incredibly excited from that. Now there are both bluefin and yellowfin tuna in this exhibit, and if you think the bluefins have bluefins and the yellowfins have yellowfins, you're sadly mistaken. They all have yellowfins. The main turtle, you better get out of the way. The main difference between the fishes and their body: yellowfin tuna are a little bit longer, and they have skinnier and longer pectoral, or the side fins, as well as the top and bottom fins as well. Now, if you watch these animals really gain speed, I tell you to pay particular attention to those tuna and watch how they fold their fins flat along their body. Here comes some of our sardines. The sardines act a bit like the vacuum cleaner. They're kind of like the cleanup crew. They come and clean up the little bits that come out of the mouths of some of the other animals. Also, when you watch the tuna, they have an extra fin just in front of that large fin they have along their tail. And it pops up when they want to make a sharp turn or put on the brakes, just like we would do in a car. So again, here come those sardines. Roughly 20 million sardines, not 20 million, excuse me, 20,000 sardines in that school right there. If you don't believe me, feel free to count for yourselves. Now, very often people will ask me, who's the leader of the school? And there isn't one. Sardines don't follow a leader, they follow each other. These fish have incredible sensory organs that run down the length of their body, and it sense vibration or movement. So as one fish moves, the other will move along with it. And when you're small and you fit in the mouths of a lot of the other animals in this exhibit, you want to make sure that you can stay close together, you move fast, and you look like one big giant fish. Because that's what you want. You don't want to get eaten by a tuna, which is good for the kids in the audience today. Stay in school so you don't get eaten by a tuna. Remember that. Now if you look up towards the middle of the exhibit window, Kelsey is starting to throw in around 25 pounds of pellets and krill for all of the sardines. The pellets is something that looks very similar to the dog or cat kibble that you would feed to your pets at home, packed with extra vitamins and minerals. And then the krill, you'll see towards the end, and it's a nice pink or orange cloud. Now krill is a very small shrimp-like crustacean, and it is the base of the food chain